So today we're talking about how straight A's are made. If you guys couldn't tell, I'm kind of really in a study strategy, study skills mood because I'm in the middle of my study less, get better grades, 6-week boot camp. But we were having so much fun in the boot camp. So thank you everybody who joined me in the boot camp. We did, in our second live session last night, we did a little over 3 hours of talking, studying, and it was fun. I had a good time. But yeah, so today we're talking about how straight A's are made. And I get a lot of questions, a lot of emails from you guys saying, how can I get straight A's? Here's my situation. Whatever your situation is, how do we get straight A's? And we talked a little bit last night in our Study Less, Get Better Grades bootcamp about how to get A's in OChem. Like Kasim said, the very first step to getting those A's is believing in yourself, right? Because if you don't believe you can get those A's, you're not going to do the things required to become that A student, to get to those A's, because it's too hard, right? We all know the A's are there, but putting in the study time, going the extra office hours, doing the extra mile, going the extra step is what's hard about it. And you're not going to do those steps if you don't think those steps are going to matter. It's like, why would you go hit on that girl if you don't think you have a chance of getting a date with her? It makes no sense, right? Right? Ladies, right? If you're out on a date with a guy and you're like, this is not a guy I want to see on a second date, then why are you even there, right? It's a waste of time. You're not going to invest in that date because you know he ain't getting date number 2. Tears, right? Going back to dating. But the first step is believing that you can get there and then putting that effort, putting that time in and getting there. And cheating is the other way, right? The second thing is trusting the process, is what Ben said. So you guys have been hanging around me too much because you guys know what's up. But it's trusting the process. And you best believe that in multiple ways, getting straight A's is a process. Both in terms of the first step of any process, moving towards A's and great grades, is that what you have to do is get great study skills. You have to learn to study. You must do that. Because if you're attempting to be good at studying, you should have studied up and become somewhat of an expert and know something about studying. And this is one of my big gripes with our educational system, is that we teach everyone all this content, science, English, whatever, but how about teaching students how to learn? Since lifelong learning will serve them in any job they're in. I don't know if AP European history is going to serve you in any job you're in, but knowing how to learn and pick up information quickly, that's what is going to be a separator for your career. So the first step in that process is learning how to study. Then once you're learning to study, right, you're developing study skills, you have to understand that studying is not black and white. So often people are like, oh, this study skill didn't work. I tried it, I learned about it, it didn't work. And that's not the way you need to think about studying. We all have to improve in everything. It's like saying, oh, the first time I hopped on a bike, the bike didn't work. Bikes don't work for me. I'm not a bike rider. I fell down and skinned my knee the first time I rode a bike. That's not the process, right? We have to struggle. We have to go through that time where we're falling and stumbling on the bike before we can get to that time where we're jumping off of ramps. And so you have to build your skill, build your expertise, not in one night, not in one day, but over time. And so this is the other part of that, trusting that process and understanding that the students who are A students, the people you guys see getting straight A's, they didn't just start today developing good study skills. They've been working at it for quite a while, right? It's taken them time to get to where they are. And I know everyone wants to pretend to be the perfect person, like they never have to study, right? And how annoying are those kids? Oh yeah, I never study. I just show up to class and I get my A. And there are a couple students who are like that, right? The photographic memory people and whatever, but I'm not one of those people, and most people are not that person. Most of these people have understood that it was a process to get there, and they may not see it, right? Because they only see the outcome. They only see the A's, and they don't even reflect back like, oh snap, I've been putting in major time into my studying and improving myself and having good habits for a long time, and it's all kind of come together and culminated in me being a successful college student. They don't see all that. But I want you guys to recognize that that's what's going to happen. So for you guys who are like, listen, I'm an F student today, I want to be an A student tomorrow, that's not realistic. We need to have a process and understand and be equipped and capable and trusting in that process to get there and go. Does that make sense to everybody? So where we're at right now in this video, we're not done yet, but are you guys following what I'm laying down right here? If you're following this, like this video right now. So like Ben said, like my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor said, a black belt isn't made overnight. A black belt was just a white belt that never quit. Exactly, right? Exactly. Brittany says she crashed her bike into a parked car. But we must get back up and try again and go through, right? That's what we have to do. And I think a quote that kind of embodies what we're talking about here in this process is by Weiss Roberts, who's a guy who writes a lot about studying, and I like him as an author. He writes, "Success does not arrive in a magic moment. Strangely enough, disappointments frequently occur when we're closest to our most solid achievements." And I think that's so true in that the perfect example of this is even applying to medical school, right? And you get that rejection. And right after that rejection, you get acceptances. And for me, when I applied to medical school, my very first encounter with the medical school was a rejection. And it made me feel terrible. It's like, oh my gosh, I got rejected. How can I get rejected? I thought I was gonna get in everywhere. And I got rejection, and I thought, oh my goodness, maybe I should just withdraw my application. I'm never gonna get into. No, I didn't think that, guys. I had confidence that I was gonna get in, but it was kind of nerve-wracking. It threw me off at first. Like, how can I get rejected? I thought I was gonna get accepted everywhere, and then right after that rejection, a flood of acceptances came in, and I got into every other school. And it's the same way with your study skills and with getting A's. Is that oftentimes, right, you're going to have points where you're struggling. You're gonna feel like, man, this is the hardest. I'm pushing the limits of my comfort zone. This is so difficult. I'm so stressed out. And then you're gonna get right past that stress, and it's gonna be like, boom. It's like over the hump and like over that hurdle. You climb the hill, and then you're gonna use the inertia to go down the backside of that hill and just kill it. So I encourage you guys, as you meet resistance through this process, through this growth, as you find confusion and struggle and all these things, on the other side of that, there's going to be some success, but too often as students, we give up before we get there, right? Right before we have a major breakthrough with the concept and with the problem set, we give up. We put it away. We move somewhere else. And so we have to make sure that we're trusting this process, that we're going to stick to it, that we understand that, yeah, we're going to have roadblocks, but on the other side of that road bump, on the other side of that block, on the other side of that struggle, on the other side of that failure is tremendous success. And it's the students who don't give up, who keep putting it down and putting in the work and trying to improve and putting in the effort, they get to the other side and they get those A's. And those are those students. And as someone who's been through all the road bumps, who was battered along the way, I can tell you, nothing is sweeter than that earned A. So Ben earlier was joking and said cheating is the way to get straight A's. Yes, sure. But nothing is better than that earned A. And you guys know, right, even a paycheck, right? $20, okay, it's cool. But if you work for your $20, right, you put in that time in. My students who are broke, who got to work for their dollars, you feel good about, even that check is small, you're mad about it, but at the same time, you're like, man, I earned this. I scrubbed some toilets, I did whatever I had to do to get this check. And it's the same way with A's. You guys, when you earn those A's, when you get that success, there's not a better feeling in the world than knowing, man, I worked for this one. I put that time in. I was studying. I was sacrificing. I was doing whatever I had to do to get it done, and you executed. You executed. You executed. You executed. And the last part of that, and kind of a continuation of that I want to say is the biggest factor, guys. If you want to get straight A's, forget every technique you've ever learned. Forget all this other stuff. The number one thing that leads to getting A's is consistency. And I forget who said it earlier, but you're exactly right. Consistency, consistency, consistency. If you can every day put a little bit of grind in, if you could every week put that grind in, over time it's going to add up. Does that make sense? It's going to add up, that consistency. Additionally, right, as we're consistent and we're building our study skills, those study skills that we're being consistent with become study habits. And we don't have to think about it. We just execute. Spark Cole, I'm glad you're on here with me live, right? You just start executing. You're like, man, what am I doing? My pen's moving so fast. My eyeballs is reading so fast. Oh, I'm understanding everything. So it's just a habit. And it's interesting because they actually have done studies on medical students who are studying for their step one. And if you guys don't know what step one exam is, but it's basically the MCAT on steroids, in that, what up, Luke? It is even more information than is on your MCAT. It's a ton of information. And what they found was that these medical students, as they're given a break from school to focus exclusively on the step one, they're doing so much studying, and it's so habitual. It's every single day. They're just studying, that their brains actually start to fire on a whole new wavelength, and they're remembering information and taking in information at rates that they otherwise would not be able to, because they get into that study habit. So I encourage you guys to start that now. Get that brain in a place where it's just used to, yeah, I'm eating up this material. Yeah, I'm understanding. Yeah, and executing on tests. So creating these habits, making it happen. But then also, right, in addition to building up those study skills, making them study habits, what you're also doing through your consistency and working hard every quarter in every class is that you're building up a fund of knowledge. And if you guys don't know what a fund of knowledge is, that's basically how we measure IQ, right? Your IQ test measures what knowledge you have in your brain. And so if you can over time just slowly and steadily pack information in your brain, your fund of knowledge will go up, and that fund of knowledge is where you work from in terms of trying to understand complex concepts and new concepts. We try to relate them to our old stuff. So the more old stuff you have in your brain, the more you can make those connections and take yourself to that next level. And so consistency, if you can get that done, it's tremendously powerful. Tremendously powerful. And sleep, Michael, you're wrong, is super important, because sleep allows you to be consistent. And you guys know what I'm talking about. How many of you guys have missed a night of sleep, or you stayed up late and then you couldn't execute the next day in your studying because you were too tired? Right? You stayed up late cramming. The next day you can't work hard because you didn't get to sleep. So therefore you can't be consistent, and you can't execute day in, day out, day in. So sleep is very important, guys. If you believe sleep is important, give me a like right now in this video. Right now. You're welcome, Zach. Still at work in the lab. And Hector, thank you for your email today. I saw your email. So thank you. I'm glad that you are growing and benefiting, and that you are buying into this no excuses, just dominate, and finding your greatness in this world. Because I believe that all you guys, everybody has greatness inside them, but we have to unlock it, right? Through this process, through believing in ourselves, through a process of development and growth, and through the consistency, and just every single day getting a little bit better, just an inch better. And I think someone said something weird in one of my live streams last week when they were like, that 1% better every day. If you get 1% better every day, by the end of the year, you're 365% better, whatever it is. The point is, even though that's ridiculous, it's true. Improve a little bit every day, because I'm 1,000 times the man I used to be. And it's because I'm consistent every single day. And as I say, the man I am, let's take it on another level. My relationship with my wife has gone 1,000-fold in the right direction, because I work on it a little bit every day. Little gestures, little things, like a hug before I leave, cleaning up after myself, subtle things, right? Goes a long way. So anyway, that's today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. How straight A's are made. If you like this video, take a second and like the video. It takes 2 seconds to reach down the bottom of your screen, hit the like button. Let people know that this is good information that I'm bringing to you guys, helping you guys get better and fulfill your greatness.